So I would like to introduce our first speaker of this panel is Masaki Fujihata. The ones who doesn't know of you, Masaki, he is a pioneer new media artist and has been pushing technology for artistic use since 80s, received in 60 or maybe even earlier, of course, but received a Golden Nika in 96 for his global interior project, and a part of artistic career. He's also very known in academic world. He's a professor at Tokyo and Keio University and also Regent Professor at UCLA. So let's welcome Masaki Fujihata, and please post your questions on the YouTube channel or Zoom channel or WeChat channel, wherever you are watching us, and we will address these questions during the panel. Masaki, floor is yours, and we are very curious to hear more about your work.
Hello. Hello, my name is Masaki Fujihata. Currently, I live in Tokyo, but in these 3 years, I had an opportunity to work in Los Angeles under the invitation from UCLA. This invitation started according to a project using augmented reality technology. But in the middle of the production, of course, we faced the pandemic. So the project suspended once, but honestly speaking, it was lucky because I had more time to do a research, and then I could find out several interesting points to show as a form of exhibition. Then the final result is an exhibition include augmented reality. So today I would like to tell you how this exhibition was made, and try to, the first part is about explain how the augmented reality was used, and hope I have some more time to discuss the found interest or the concept of augmented reality. So you saw this first page, Be Here 1942. Then this is the one of the drawing made by CAD software for the exhibition. This was done about 8 months before the actual exhibition. So there is 4 different rooms, but after these, there is an augmented reality application supplied with the iPad Pro, and people will see the content in front of the museum. So this is the first room. The first room is contains a huge printout of a photography. This photography was made by Dorothea Lange, one of the very famous documentary photographer. It's kind of not really a coincidence, but she was one of the photographer who made a document about evacuation from the West Coast into the remote location for the Japanese American community. So anyhow, this project focused on to the historic moment when Japanese Americans were asked to evacuate to somewhere in internment camp. But the topic is about to reconstruct the moment by using new technology. But all of these recreation were based on the photography. It's very interesting. At the beginning, I didn't think, but please imagine 1940. It's a kind of period, a prominent period of power of photography. And the photography was a kind of high tech in 30s and 40s. So it's like a 8K monitor. The photography was a kind of 8K monitor, or maybe you know that the Life magazine was published in 1936. So this is one of very important medium to show the photography in a high resolution. So this is a close-up of a small lady. So this photo was made while I did a guided tour. So I was very much surprised when I close up this photography, because inside her eye, the reflection of the human figure was not single. I mean, not only the photographer, there are several other people standing in front of this small lady. That means, photographer herself was observed by American government, a officer from American government, and also perhaps military police were surrounded. So, sorry, this is more about the history and the photo medium. But anyhow, this is one of the very important photography I found in the process of research. Yeah, this is the original photography. Usually we don't see the reflection inside the eye, but nowadays, National Archive in the US is providing very high resolution scan. It is about 4,000 by 3,000 pixels. That's why we can make a close-up even inside the eyes. It's like a Blade Runner. So the situation is now. And then, these two rooms occupied with the photography made by Dorothea Lange, and try to tell the audiences the history and the happenings around the Japanese American community. And there are many interesting topics are there, but I cannot tell you today. Then, this is very interesting photography, but I will skip this. This is funny because she is the lady sitting here, and she's a elder sister with her 80 after 80 years. So they saw themselves. These are the moment, and then from here, I've been using another photographer. He's also commanded to make a documentation about Japanese American evacuation. But the cameraman is Russell Lee. He is also one of the famous member of documentary photographer. So I want to show you one movie. It's a silent, and it is totally recreated based on his photography. And the situation is different because Dorothea Lange made a photography only in the San Francisco area. But these photography made by Russell Lee was made in Los Angeles. So, okay, let's see. So this is the one of the result of my production, but it's a linear movie. So originally, these happenings were on the 1st of April 1942. And all of these human figures were shot by volumetric capture studio. And these are real human. These are not crafted 3D model. The reason why I focused onto this type of moment about to wait for the trains or buses, because they need to be abandoned to live in the same house, and also they need to abandon their property, house, and also cars and so on. So that means they already forget about the past, but the government didn't tell them about where they are going. That means also the future is unknown. This is totally suspended moment. It's a transition, but they really don't know, the past and the future. So in this movie, only the cameraman is moving around, and the other human figure, I mean, most of them are Japanese American, don't move. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Oops. Okay. So this is the original photography shot by Russelli. So you can refer. This is the real one. 80 years ago, this was shot. And this cameraman is quite interesting because most of the photographer came from a newspaper company. They usually use the speed graphic camera, and never include the other cameramans. But this cameraman, Russelli, include the other cameraman like this. And where it is? Yeah, this is the speed graphic, and this is the camera Russelli is using. So he didn't need to use a flash because the lens is very high speed. That's a different point. That technology itself is different. So yeah, and this is very interesting photography because there's the Japanese Americans, and these are the movie cameraman. This is very rare photography. The photography include the documenting the other photographers. So that was a very important point to me. How these photo was made. What was the relationship between cameraman and the subject? And then this is the fourth room. I put the big printout about the train modeled by my friend and refer to the original wagon. And then in front of this train, people were asked to use a replica camera. The replica camera contains the iPhone to show the augmented reality. Yeah, so this is the kind of. So inside the camera, people can see the human figure, very similar human figures, which I already shows you as a linear movie. So there are people. So now you are asked to be a cameraman. And then how can you behave? How can you make a position to capture the moment? So this is my question. So until here, we've been discussing about the relationship between cameraman and subject, but now the audience were asked, how can you be a cameraman? So this is one of several of resulted photography through the camera. Yeah, this is another audience. And there is three displays which is showing the result which was shot by the audiences. Yeah, this is it's not a good movie, but you can feel something when you see inside the finder. Okay. Yeah, then this is the last part about the wall exhibition. People were asked to borrow a iPad Pro, and the iPad Pro already have an application to see the augmented reality. So as you can see, here is some figures. They are waiting or walking, come to the bus location. But in the real space, there is nothing. This is also, and I want to show you some movie. So the reason why I did so much heavy research into the photography, because I needed to write a small scenario for all of these actors. Then when at the studio, I present my idea about the scenario, then also these families and actors collaborate to decide how to behave in front of the cameras. Because the augmented reality itself is just a technology, but this production is very important to tell the story. But there is no narrations, And also there is no big dramas like cinema. There is no heroes. There is no heroines. There are three different sections. First is people walking towards the location, and the second part is people waiting for the gathering, and then last part is about to make a line for riding buses. So in this occasion, the same actor appears 3 times. So actually, in this sequence, it is about nearly 200 people at the plaza in front of the museum. I think this is one of the largest installation using augmented reality with the actual humans. This is the sequence about lining up for the bus. These are some of the photography I referred to recreate this moment. These are the actual happenings. I think I will skip this one. Ish. And this video was.
I don't remember too much except standing in that crowd right on the corner, Central and First, where the Nishihonganji temple is. That is where we were waiting for the bus to take us down to the train station. That's about all I remember.
So the exhibit is called Be Here in 1942, a new lens on the Japanese American incarceration.
This production was based on the volumetric capture technology.
I think it's going to be different for every person.
I've never seen an exhibit that affected me so much like this one. My name is June Aochi Burke. I'll be 90 this year. I was 9.5 when we were evacuated and we had to leave our homes.
The topic we focused on is about the moment people are waiting for the bus or the train which went to the camps.
This right here is where real people 80 years ago were standing, getting ready to step on a bus and leave everything. There are these 2 augmented reality installations. You walk around in this space that is filled with images of Japanese Americans waiting to get on buses. The Yanai Initiative is a collaborative project, UCLA and Waseda University in Tokyo. This is the biggest project that the Yanai Initiative has ever undertaken.
There's one picture of me holding a doll. I've seen a lot of pictures of that doll.
All of these photographs were shot by the professional cameraman. They were commanded from the American government at that moment. Even in that situation, the cameraman came in, following with maybe 5 or 6 Caucasians surrounded by you when you were 5 years old. That's the kind of fact I found when I close up the eyes. There is a silhouette of the people reflected.
It's like seeing the whole evacuation from different eyes.
You walk around in this space that is filled with images of Japanese Americans, and you really feel a kind of connection to history that, at least for me, I've never experienced that before.
If you were moved with the story, your brain starts to energize and memorize more solid way. So that's an artist's job.
So this kind of use of this emerging technology of volumetric capture is also unprecedented. In all kinds of ways, this is a pretty amazing technological feat, and it's still kind of stunning to me that we managed to pull it off.
I did feel like we weren't equal. I think it's important to record these stories so that it will not happen again.
Hate is taught. We have to stop this one generation teaching the other generation to hate. At my age, as long as I can still talk and as long as I can still remember, I feel that it's my duty to tell the story as I know it, and hopefully it will educate some people. I hope so.
Yeah. Do I have more time? I think it's almost 20 minutes.
Yeah, you're perfectly on time. So
Okay.
you can yeah, you have 1 minute if you wish, but you can
I
also
see.
finish.
I think
if you want.
it's fine. I have more films about my photography at the shooting studios. I think I'm stop here.
Okay, thank you so much. Although you said it's not about emotions, I mean I feel the emotions a lot in this project, and especially like you mentioned uncertainty, and I think I guess it's coincidence, but all of us can kind of really feel this moment of uncertainty with the COVID and war in Ukraine. So it's really resonates, I think, with everybody. And we will, I think, come back with more questions in the panel. And now I will make a.
I wanna add. I try to conclude short sentences because why I focused on to history with augmented reality, but as you can imagine, the medium is always connected with our memory. So memory is a device to externalize our memory. It's very important. We are as a human, so we've been using many devices to memorize and also retrieve the memory. So then always the medium is very much connected with the history. And then in former years, we only have a books or writings or telling and record it. But now we have an augmented reality. Why not? We should challenge to know the condition of the augmented reality medium. How can we use and how affect this technology to our heart? So that's and then this topic for me, I have very few invitations from America, but this time, kind of coincidence, and we could find out a very interesting topic related to my nation. I'm just a Japanese. I'm not a Japanese American, but when I think about what is a Japanese American, that reflects to me my identity. So not only about topics in the US, but also there are many connections, media and the nationality, and how can I make a relation to the others. So then at last, I feel I was very successful because most of the Japanese American very much welcomed my project. They announced to their friends and families and so on. And then now it's very successful. Then they decided to extend the show until next year.
Yes, definitely. Very important project for community.
Yeah. And actually, I was very much surprised that several of Japanese Americans, they had a tear while they used the device. So
I am not surprised.
Yeah,
I think I will have tears all over.
Yeah,
but
then
we were
this was my first time in my career as a media artist. I saw someone with a tear with my artwork.
Yeah, actually, we were yesterday just touching upon emotions and how to transfer emotions through these virtual spaces. And I think your project is really kind of a brilliant example to this, that bringing the emotions and values and memories on the foreground.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much, Masaki. We will definitely continue during the panel.
Please.